All right, I think we're live. We're just going to wait for Miss Tracy to share us over. We have a couple minutes. I'm just going to check my places, make sure I'm all set up. Make sure we're doing what we're supposed to be doing here. All right. All right, well, I'm supposed to be live in both YouTube and Facebook, but I'm not sure if I am live over there. Over on the YTube, I mean. I am. Okay. We are in both places. Excellent. Okay. So, hello, YouTubers. Hello, Facebookers. I will just get both of these screens up so I can see what's happening. And then we're good to go. All right. Perfect. Okay. So, hopefully that works well. Okay. So, if you want to watch on the YTube or you want to watch here or on the Craft Around the Clock group, that's perfect. Whatever you want to do. We're in many places. We're all over the place. Hi, there's Miss Tracy. Okay, so I think we can get started. So we're going to do a little Hello Spring sign. I thought it was high time we did something springy again. So we're going to work on this little project here. So it's a little umbrella. So I'm just going to slide this right off. It's all kind of sitting on there. Just going to slide that right off so we can just get this background on here. Alrighty. Hope everybody's doing good tonight. So I did put the Craft Around the Clock link at the top of this post. So if you're not a member or want to be, the link is there and you can pop over there and join. So I haven't painted a demo for this one. So this is going to be a new one for me too. So we're just going to get a little bit of burnt umber. We're just going to put a stain on our background with a baby wipe and a little bit of burnt umber paint. And we'll just wipe that right on there. Sorry, I'm trying to get this in the camera and I don't want to get that on my umbrella. Every time I say umbrella, I want to belt out that Rihanna song. But I did that yesterday when I was cutting it, so I won't torture you with my singing or lack of abilities in singing with it. But anyway, if you know the song, you know what I'm saying. It just kind of makes you want to sing that. If I sing, you might shut me off and then no one will see my project. All right, so we're just rubbing that paint onto the background with our baby wipe. I might have to get a clean one here in a second. Maybe not. We just have a little bit left to go. And then we'll just set this aside and let it dry while we're working on our other pieces. So we're here until 9:15. So I'm hoping that I can get this at least painted so you can see what it looks like. We're going to do our best anyway. So after that's on there, like you can, hello, Kelly. Thank you for sprinkling. You can bring this back a little bit if you don't want it, depending on how dark you want it to be. So if you just want to grab a clean one, you can kind of, take a little bit more off if you want to, if you just want a really light stain. I mean, I was okay. Hello, Paula. I was okay with it, but I just wanted to show you that, you can just pull a little more off if you want it to be lighter. It's an easy, quick way to apply stain on your background. So there's our background finished. We're just going to set that aside, let it dry while we're working on this little umbrella here. All right, so these are all little separate pieces, so we need to dismantle for a second whilst I work on. Now these I could have just taken straight out like that. Anyway, we have our base piece here. So I'm going to paint my umbrella with some Bahama Blue. Maybe we are. This must be a, it's got some, I'm going to say the word paint boogers in there. It's not letting me. This probably has been around for a while. So good excuse to use it up. Good excuse as any, I guess. All right, so we'll get this with, I'm just going to use a makeup sponge to get this on. So I'm just going to rub this part on. Sometimes I dab like so, but this is kind of like a little bit of a fragile piece, so I don't want to break it. So we're going to be gentle with this as possible. As gentle as possible. The way the umbrella is cut up in these little pieces here like this, it's a little bit fragile-y. But we'll get it, hopefully, without breaking it on the live. That would be the time I would do that. All right. I'm hoping this is going to be a nice little round once we're done. Like I said, I haven't tested this one yet, so we shall see. That's a pretty color. That is a pretty color. I love it too, Kelly. It's so I don't know, spring, summer. You could get away with both. It makes you think of the beach, though, doesn't it? That blue color. All right, that's dry enough. So we're gonna go in there quick like with a second coat. I'm gonna hold this so I don't make a boo-boo. And the second coat always goes on so much nicer than the first. I feel that first one just sinks right in the wood. So the second one actually looks a little more true to the color. You can see how it kind of changes to a little bit lighter there. Yes, the beach for sure. All right, this is the biggest piece that we have. So this one's taken me a hot minute to get this on here. The base coating is always like the bit of a tedious part. The fun stuff comes after. All right, and this top part I'm going to do it in a little darker sort of teal color. I'm going to use Mystic Teal for that top part, for the handle, and the backer for the hello sign. So let's get in there and get that done. This color's a little bit transparent, I find. So it's definitely going to take 2 coats on this one. And then we can set this little ditty aside and work on our tulips and lettering. Okay, so let's dry that up fast. Hello, Phyllis. I don't want it to get on my tape because I'm afraid that if I get it stuck on there, I might break it. Oh my goodness. I'm so afraid to break this little piece. All right, that's looking a little bit snazzier there. So I will have this blank in the shop. It's already in there actually, but I will post the color photo of it once we get it finished tonight on there as well. So if you're interested in this little blank, you'll be able to tell a little bit better once we get a little further along with the painting of it. All right, let's set that little umbrella aside as well. Okay, so lettering. Let's do our lettering now. So we have our word spring. So I have my tape out here already that I was trying to avoid a second ago. And I'm going to do these in white. Pretty simple. All right, clean makeup sponge. And we'll get these painted. This has all these little dainty scroll pieces, and it's testing my klutzy abilities to see how well I can do with this dainty stuff. All right. Okay, we can get these set aside once I get this second coat on here, and then we'll start on our little tulips. And then we can do a little shading. We're doing good for time. So again, with these dainty ones, we have to be careful when we pull them off the tape. I think I've said that just to remind myself. And then we'll put our letters up here to dry as well. All right, tulips. So we have these little backers, and then we have the overlay tulips that go on top of it. So I'm going to do the greenery on these first, because we don't really have to paint these backers because these will go on top glued on top. So we don't really have to be painting those out. So enough talking, silly woman. All right, so I'm going to use a little bit of Hauser Light Green on my greens. And if you go up a little bit onto that tulip, it's all good. You won't see it anyway. Dry our greens. And of course, a second coat. Always a second coat. And then we can get to painting our tulips. So I'm going to use 3 different colors for the tulips because they're in a little sets of 3s. So 3 different colors works for me. So we'll set these aside as well without making a mess. Okay. So we have this a set of 3. So I'm going to see if I can get them all in here so we can do them all at one time and that you can see them. I think you can somewhat see them there anyway. So we'll start with some yellow. And I'm just going to use this. I think this is a dollar store Deco paint. This one is Daffodil Yellow. That will work just fine. And we'll do this one for the set of 3 on this side. And this one for this set of 3 on the other side. So we'll let that dry for a hot minute and we'll just move on to our next color. I'm going to use lavender. This is again a dollar store Deco Art paint. It's pretty much, you know, it's just a little thinner, the paint that you get at the Buck store, but it works just as good. So we'll do the purple. And I'm not sure, but I think I'm going to grab a little bit of white to tone that purple down. I want it to be a little bit less bright than that. So I'm just going to grab some white and mix it right in there on my tulip. Yeah, that's a little better, and I've toned it down just a smidge. I wanted it to be more pastel than bright purple like that. So we'll do the same on this side. I'll grab some of that white and just tone that down. And then the last one, I'm going to use some pink. Now I'm using this Tutti Frutti color. It's pretty bright pink too. So I'm going to do the same thing as I did with the purple one. I'm going to tone it down with some white as well. So I'll get some of this on here. Now, I mean, if you like this to be bright like this, that's fine. I just kind of was leaning more towards a pastel sort of look myself. All right, once we get these pink ones done, we can go back to our yellow and add another coat on there. And then we should be ready to do some shading, and we're in good shape for time. Good shape for time. Okay. There we have it. Okay, so back to our yellow. And you know, even this one could be toned down just a bit, in my opinion. So we can add a little white to that. Now this is just personal preference. I kind of like pastel colors more so than those darker ones. So that's just me. But there's no rules. You can paint your tulips any color you like. It's the fun of it. Okay, perfect. Purple, my purple sponge, back to there. And we'll grab a little white at the same time. Mix that right on there. We're kind of killing two birds with one stone, with one sponge. Right on, okay. Next up. And then our pink. It's looking pretty springy over here. I hope you guys aren't asking me anything because I really haven't been looking. Oh, you have those paints, Sue? Yes. I mean, for the price of them, I mean, how could you not? How could you not? They're a good deal. So I'll just give these a little quick dry and set them aside. So we're going to do a little shading now. Okay. So let's set our little tulips aside, and I'm going to shade my greens first, and then we'll come back to our tulips. So I'm going to get rid of this tape because I'm sort of done with it, and it will just cause me grief. All right, so our greens. So I'm going to use a bit of Hauser Dark Green. So some people, when they paint these, they don't shade them. I like to, just to add a little extra. Not that you have to. There's no saying that you do. I just like the way they look when you add a little something extra to them. So I'm going to use my little angle brush, and I'm just going to add a little bit of this darker green onto my leaves. Underside. This is kind of the fun part for me when you add all of the little extra things. Okay, let's put that one over there. We'll do the same thing to this one. So I'm just kind of going on one side. I still want to be able to see that lighter green in there. What do we say, Sue? It gives it a little extra something, something. Isn't that what we say? Okay. All right, and for the highlight of the leaf, I'm just going to take a little smidge of, I'm going to get some more white out, some clean white, because I've dipped many colors in my white. And I'm just going to add a little highlight onto that top edge of the leaf. Can you guys see this okay? Is it close enough, or do you need me to zoom in a bit? Just say so if you do need me to zoom in. But that just changed the whole look of those leaves, in my opinion. All right, So let us do this side as well. And we'll add a little bit up here and a little on this one. So those are ready for our tulips. So now we can do exactly that. So for our tulips, the shading, I think I'm going to use a little antique gold on the bottom of these. I'm going to see how it looks. I didn't want to go with an orange or that kind of shade, so I thought I'm just going to use this antique gold color, and I think that's going to work out fine. So I want to go along the bottom edge of my flower. Now our letters are going to be on here too, so we don't have to get too crazy fancy with this because our letters will be, you know, sitting on top of our tulips. I'm just going to spruce them up a little bit. Okay, and you can even put a little bit, you know, on the center in the bottom edge here. Why not? And then I'm going to do the same. I'm going to add a little bit of a white highlight on these as well, on that top edge. Our letters are white, so I don't want to go too crazy with the white because our white letters might blend in too much. But we can put a little bit on these points. And then we're going to do our other flowers just the same. So we'll set our little yellow ones aside. And then our pink ones, let's go pink. We'll use a little bit of wild berry. These are all Deco Art colors, by the way. Oops. So we're going to put a little bit of this on the bottom, just like we did on the yellow ones. And then the purple ones are going to be a little bit different because they are kind of a centerpiece for the other two, but we're going to manage it here in a second. Let's show you what I'm going to do with that. Hopefully I know what I'm going to do with that. All right, let's dry these. Add a little white to the top. Okay. And lastly, our purple. So these kind of sit, I think they sit up against, I can't remember how they sit in there. Oh, like this. No, we'll figure it out. Let's see. Oh yes, like that. Okay, so I know what I need to do now. All right, so for this one, we'll use a little royal purple. And we will come along this edge here. I guess sort of exactly the same. We'll just come up the outside edge. This one's just shaped a little different. Oh, itch. All right, we'll dry these and add our white tops. You guys are quiet. You're all just watching. You're not saying a word. Must have been a long day, was it? Oops, I got into a little green there. Let me fix. You don't want green on there. Get that off of there. All right, let's try that again. I had some green on my paper towel I think I got myself into. Okay. All right, let's dry these and we can kind of put these together, see how they look. Over there. All right, so purple in the center, and then our yellow over here. I don't know why that's not working out for me. What am I doing wrong, ladies? There we go. I don't know. I think this one must go over here. I don't know what the heck is happening. I almost cussed there. I did. I didn't mean to. Heck. There. I think that one was supposed to go on that side there. I'll be getting kicked off the Craft Around the Clock because I'm saying bad words. I apologize. It was a slip. All right, so we'll put our letters on here. I'm trying to redeem myself for my bad behavior here. I think that's going to work out okay. We just have to do a little work on our umbrella. Oh, thank you, Charlotte. Okay. Oh my gosh, Connie. 6 grandkids today? Yeah, you should be sleeping right now. What the heck, lady? Okay, so this little ditty. Now, I think since that dried, this looks like it needs a little extra here. I'm just going to add some more of that Mystic Teal. Now, remember I said it was a little bit of a transparent. Now, it's not going to show too much underneath there, but we'll just add another little coat while we're working on the bottom part of the umbrella. And this can be drying while we're doing our business down here. Okay, so let's grab our shader. So I think what I'm going to do is, you're close. Well, stay awake for another 13 minutes. If you disappear, I'll know what happened. She couldn't do it. She conked out. All right, so I'm going to take some of this Mystic Teal and I'm going to shade my umbrella with it, I'm hoping. So we're just going to go along these bottom edges here. That same color that we used for the handle. So let's go all the way along the bottom edge first. So I'm just basically rubbing my brush along the edge of the piece. It's nothing too fancy. Like so. And then I'm going to do that sort of along the edges of the sections of the umbrella too. So let's turn this around here. Get in here. So I'll do this one side first and then we'll hit the other side after we get this one on. Okay, we'll flip it around and we'll do the other side of those. So it's just a little, again, I mean, if you like it plain, fine, but I like to just jazz it up a little bit. There's the words. I like to jazz it up a little bit. So I'm just hitting the other side of that little section. And then we're going to dry this. Yeah, we're going to dry it. Now, I'm going to take a bit of white and I'm going to just go along the top edge. There's a little kind of highlight on here. And I'm also going to do a little dry brushing on my sections. So bear with me for a second. Now you could also add some polka dots to this little umbrella if you wanted to as well. I have my trusty little polka dot tool here. So if you wanted to, you could, you know, add some dots to it to add some extra to it as well. I'm not sure if I'm going to do that. I'm going to see how it looks without first. Okay, so there's our little highlight on there, and then I'm just going to take my stencil brush and I'm going to dry brush a little bit of white on here too. Where can we get, what are you asking me? I gotta scroll down. This one's in my shop, Kelly. I'll add the link after I get off of here. I'll put it in the comments here. So I'm just taking some white paint and I'm just going to rub it into those little sections in the center. So you can see how it just changed the look of that just by adding that little glow in the center. And I think that's all I'm going to do to my umbrella. I'm not going to add any other dots or anything. I think the dry brushing will be enough. I think I will like it just like this. So I'm just basically rubbing that dry paint into the surface. And I'm holding it because, like I said, it's a little bit fragile because it's got these cutouts in here. So I'm trying to be careful. And if you know me, that is a stretch. If you saw my trip and fall video, you will know what I'm saying. I was klutzy as the day is long. If I could do it, I would. So with that little glow, it looks good. I'm liking that. And then you can, come back in and add a little more if you want. I like my dry brushing. It's one of my favorite things. I think it just adds a whole different texture to the surface and the whole look of your painting. Okay, and I don't want to rub too hard because I don't want to break my piece. Okay, so I think we're ready to bring our round back over here. What do we got left? We got 6 minutes. So we can get this in place and see how it looks. So we have our little hello here. So it's going to be nice and bright on that dark blue color. Now we could add a little shade to this too. Let's do that before I get all crazy. Let's put a little highlight of white on the top of our umbrella. I'm looking at it and it's like lacking something on the handle here. Let's put a little white up here just for the heck of it. And let's get a little black out. If we're going to do it up, let's do it up. All right, we got 5 minutes left. I think we're good. So I'll just put a little black, some water on there, a little black at the base here. And maybe at the base of my handle, put a little black there. And along the bottom edge of my handle. Maybe up this side a bit. Now, that may not make a huge difference to you guys, but it made me happy, so there you go. And then we can add a little white maybe to the side of our handle here to go with our white highlight on the top. Okay. You're laughing at me. All right. Now we can come back in with our here. So I'm going to take these off because I need to get, now these I'm not going to glue on here because I might have a time to glue some, but maybe not. So these kind of fit right in there. Right in here. And they do, like, they're snug. They kind of fit right up against, let me get it in this. So there. So they fit right up against the top of the umbrella. Let me get that right. There we go. For heaven's sakes. There we go. Like so. And then we can add our little tulips. Let me get this off of here. So, I mean, whatever color combos, I mean, this could be painted in so many different color combinations. You know, I'm seeing some melon color on the flowers would be pretty too. You could do so many different ones. And of course, your umbrella you could do in several different shades too if you wanted to. I mean, you don't have to stop at blue just because I did blue. But there we go. All right, so we put our letters on, and I think we did it. Whoops, can't spell. There we go. Can't spell. Oh, Sue, yes, you were laughing at my trip and fall accident. Yes. Yes, that was terrible. Anyways, so it was funny though. I did laugh at myself. So once you get this finished, we have a couple minutes. So I just want to show you, you know, you can take your liner brush. Now, all of these pieces, of course, would be glued down, but you can take your liner brush and a little bit of white, and you can add some highlights with your liner brush too. So I'm just going to add a few little dots and add a little highlight here on my handle. And again, this is just a little bit extra that you can do to spruce it up a bit. Now I'm going to try and get in here on this part of the handle. I mean, you could do this without it all put together too. It might be a little easier than when I'm trying to do it with it sitting there. And you can do the same thing on the umbrella too. If you want to, you can add a few little highlight lines on the top here. And I think that concludes our time, ladies. We did it. All right, so there you have it. That's what it looks like painted up. I hope you enjoyed. It's pretty. All right, I hope you enjoyed. And if you want one of these, I'll pop the link in the comments here after I get off of here.